Hi everyone, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. And today I'm playing in probably my favourite tier 10 vehicle, although it's always a toss-up between this and the Progetto 25T, the tier 10 Italian auto-reloading medium tank, the Progetto 65. Now, if I stumble on a few of my words today, that's because I streamed for 13 hours in aid of special effect and cancer research. And it ended about pretty much 12 hours ago now, or something silly like that. I must say a massive thank you to all of you who did tune in. We raised £27,450. That's something silly like $35,000 for cancer research and special effect. A massive thank you to all of you, and as I did promise from my loot box opening, I contributed £500 for the two charities this year. So yeah, I'm still bewildered really. I don't think it's truly sunk in. Maybe it's gonna sink in later today or possibly even tomorrow, or maybe it'll sink in the new year when the actual fundraising page closes. And so if you missed it and you want to add to that total, you can find it either through my Twitter, Facebook, and also put it through a link down below. Now what you're seeing here is the last game at the end of that session, and I have to admit I was a little bit shaky. I was probably running on the caffeinated drinks and just running on fumes, and just the pure adrenaline of what the community was coming together to achieve. But also the adrenaline that will be pumping through my body later on in this game, because trust me, it is a nail biter. I haven't had an exciting round like this in quite a while. Alright, so the Progetto 65, why am I so in love with this tank? Well, it's definitely not the damage per minute. This has got the worst damage per minute of any of the tier 10 medium tanks. And you know me, I'm a fanatic for damage per minute. I'm even willing to play silly tanks like the Tortoise or the Badger just to be able to have the greatest damage per minute in the game. This vehicle, when it's fully loaded, deals 2,160 damage per minute. Now we're talking about needing multiple minutes to be able to kill a mouse when the damage per minute is that poor. Now of course, this vehicle can use a gun rammer, unlike something like a Progetto 25T can, but then again, that just means that you have to probably either sacrifice the vents or sacrifice the coated optics, so either you make everything about your vehicle about 2.5% better if you're not willing to use vents, or you make your view range 7.5% worse if you're not willing to use coated optics and you choose vents in replacement of them. So on my Progetto 65, because I love this tank so much, I've actually spent some of my bonds on an enhanced piece of vents equipment, so they actually improve my crew skills by 7.5%. And lots of people are asking me, considering everybody got loads of bonds for free if you've been playing the game for a long time along with the T52, what should I spend my bonds on? Well, obviously the video that I released this week highlighted that Wargaming are planning on finally selling for something other than an in-game advantage for bonds. So you're going to be able to get reward vehicles that are no longer available in the game, most likely the FE215B 183, the Foch 155, and what's the other one? I can't remember now. Oh yeah, the Foch 155, FE215B 183, and also the regular FE215B. What did Wargaming have about those tier 10 British vehicles? I don't know. Well, I've actually replaced them with far more interesting tanks, if we're being honest. So obviously you could save your bonds for those vehicles coming up, or alternatively you might want to invest it in the equipment. Now if you do invest it in the equipment, definitely put it in an important tank, because even if you've been finishing gold in all of the ranked battle seasons, I've only got a handful of pieces of enhanced equipment on any of my vehicles, so they're very precious, and so you should think about what vehicles you want to use them on. Now I've personally put them on tanks like the Progetto 65, the T100LT, those kind of vehicles at tier 10 that I truly love, and also the Progetto 25T I think, or maybe I haven't. If I haven't, I'm definitely going to, but actually no, I can't now, because I have to save them for maybe the possible vehicles that Wargaming are going to release that I may have or may not have, but I feel like the bonds are too precious to waste anyway. But let's say you don't care about all those vehicles, you just want to spend your bonds now, then I would recommend spending them on enhanced ventilation. Because enhanced ventilation, the skill goes from 5% up to 7.5%, which is tremendous compared to, for example, what you get on a gun rammer, where it goes from 10% to 12.5%. So that 25% increase is not nearly as much as the vents increase of 50%. And what you can even do is start to think about dropping coated optics on some of your vehicles, like this one, that do have an impressive view range of 400 meters, and then you can not use coated optics instead of getting improved vents, and then effectively you're kind of only losing about 6% view range between the difference between enhanced vents and also coated optics. I don't know what this IS-3 was doing. Maybe he's just had enough. It was rather late at night when this game was played. I think it was about 1 a.m. in the morning, for me, so I guess that's 2 in the morning for most of Europe. So maybe he's just decided, oh, I've had enough of this, or maybe he was getting tired of that 357 matchmaking. Either way, all exciting stuff as to what Wargaming are going to plan to do with that in the future. But again, whether it happens or not, we're just going to have to wait and see. Anyway, let me focus on this situation, and that is that I was just sitting in the field and getting bogged down by the RU-251. I was worried about getting spotted and hit by the artillery, and so instead I decided to come over to the west to try and hold up what was going on in the town. The reason why I did that is because we see the T-110E4 and the 140 on the enemy team are starting to push their way through, and I thought that I needed to assist my team in taking on those tier 10 vehicles. In these kind of matchups where there's a tier 10 self-propelled gun, there are only 2 tier 10 tanks apart from that. But look at that. The GWE-100 slaps me for 502, and I was just absolutely gobsmacked. I was probably waving my arms around on stream, reacting to the situation, so I take an extra shell from the Progetto 46. So that GWE-100 must actually be pretty much all the way out in the corner of the field right now. Okay, so E75 comes around the corner, I proxy spot him, and that enables the tank destroyer, the SU-101, to actually put a rather meaty, looks like a 122mm shell into him for 410 damage. And right now I was just thinking, oh, 13 hours into the stream, is this really going to be the last game? Is this going to be the last game after everybody has donated £27,000 in support of cancer research and Special Effect? And if you don't know, Special Effect is a charity that helps those with disabilities to still be able to play video games. And so I felt like, oh, come on, surely I can summon something out. And so I started to actually get myself a little bit hyped right now, and I started to try and, get the adrenaline flowing around the body, aiming for the back of the Progetto 46 to hopefully try and set him on fire and finish him off, but he had a fire extinguisher that kept him in it. Now, I don't fire the 4th shell there at the Progetto because the Object 261 finishes him off. And remember, every single time you go deeper and deeper into this magazine, your damage per minute gets progressively worse and worse. Well, when you're fully loaded, the reload time is 10 seconds. When you fully unloaded, the reload time is 16 seconds. Absolutely awful, and that's when you're really going to be in a lot of trouble. All right, so we managed to quell their advance there, and now it's me and 2 self-propelled guns and a Scorpion G who's lowly holding the field against, is that 8 enemy tanks? Oh, this is going to be a rather tricky one to get through. But luckily, the Object 140 has fallen, and I think the T-110E4 is probably not wanting to push right out into the open of the artillery. So I decided it's time to press. If I hang around there, I'm probably going to get caught. And we find the 5100, which we clutch shot and react. And I'm looking for that E75 now. I'm thinking, where in hell's name is that E75? And I also want to keep moving to try and avoid the artillery. Now I realize, well, if the E75 isn't on my right, surely that means the E75 has probably gone round on the left here, or alternatively, he might even be on the right. And you can see I react to him quickly. I stop. I dodge the shell. And now, oh yeah, 1 into the lower plate, 2 into the lower plate. But we are low rolling. Oh, can you believe we low roll so badly? All 3 shots are low rolls. We roll -24, -42, -28. It's absolutely out. Well, sorry, -26 for the first one. And so we end up having to waste another shell on the E75, which could have been absolutely fatal if the T-110E4 had come around the corner. Having fully unloaded my magazine and shutting down the Tier 9 German heavy tank, now I decide to load heat rounds, because I feel like the heat rounds are going to give me an advantage against the turret of the T-110E4. My standard rounds, while they're going to be very good if I can get clean shots into the lower plate, or alternatively, if I get shots into the side or into the rear of the tank, these heat rounds are going to enable me to shoot to the left and to the right of the T-110E4's gun. Well, the mantlet, I should say. Hit the cheeks, and we should be able to deal with it there. Alright, so the RU-251 has been spotted. I zero in a shot and shut him down. Good job by my artillery to slow that Tier 9 German light tank. Great stuff. And now I'm starting to think, like, oh my word, is this really starting to happen now? We're on 4,200 damage, 1,700 spotting dealt this game. 5 minutes left, 3 self-propelled guns and 2 tank destroyers, with the aid of 2 TDs on my team. And those self-propelled guns have been having a rather good round. So I fire 1 in, but there's a dead tank in the way. I fire 2, and come on, let's connect the shell. We do, but we low roll once again. 337, leaving him on 8 hit points. Now I'm looking for the top of the tank, but I realize I can't hang around here. If I hang around here, the artillery is going to nail me. So I decide, let's advance, but oh god, the artillery hits me. The artillery hits me again, and the T-110E4 gets into cover. I guess he's just trying to survive right now, hoping that his artillery are going to be able to put in more shots. And do you see just what happened? I used my med kit to remove the stun after the GWE-100 hit me, and then the FV-207 removes 2 of my crew members. Just Look. Oh, wow. Look how far I can get my hand over. That's interesting. Just look down there. I've lost my gunner and I've lost my driver. Absolutely outrageous. How am I meant to fight back right now? So I decide to pull back, try and bait the T110E4 into coming out into the open, and hopefully allowing my 212A, or alternatively my 261, to be able to finish him off. We can see that the enemy artillery think that I'm still in the same location, and unfortunately the AT-15A gets the jump on the 212A. Oh no, and he's on 825 hit points, and considering I got a dead gunner, I'm not feeling too confident about slamming him from this long distance range. So the 261 decides to YOLO. He gets spotted by the AT-15 and shut down by the two self-propelled guns, which now leaves QuickyBaby after a 13-hour marathon fundraising event in a 1 versus 5 situation. Although, you know, these are your easier 1 versus 5 situations, right? The ones where you're against 3 self-propelled guns and 2 tanks. That's definitely the more easy of the Kolobanov's medals to try and contest. But what isn't easy about this situation is 140 hit points, and the fact that this map is rather open if you manage to not get caught inside the town, and the fact that I had 2 crew members dead right up until now, and 3 minutes and 45 seconds to try and deal with this. Alright, so I expect to get spotted, but luckily I managed to catch a glimpse at the AT-15. That is very fortunate, as now we're going to be able to get into a position to completely outplay him. So I go forwards into the bush and I realize, okay, AT-15 there, if I swing round to the right a little bit, stay low, around the corner, and then I go into the bush, we spot the AT-15. His sixth sense will likely go off, and he's going to tell where I'm shooting him from now, but our Eagle Eye Commander perk tells us that he had a dead driver, meaning that he was a sitting duck. Alright. First tank down with 3 rounds into the back of the tier 8 British tank destroyer. And now I'm going to load Hesh rounds. People always ask, QuickyBaby, why do you take 10 Hesh rounds in this tank? It's for these situations where you've got a T110E4 on 8 hit points and you've got 3 artillery on the enemy team. My Hesh damage is 440. That means that I will be able to one-shot the FV207 and the M53, M55 if I do roll slightly high. So look at these remaining tanks on the enemy team. They've killed half of our team between them. Well, just under half. They killed 6 of our team. And there's the M53, 55. So I keep moving in case I'm spotted. But luckily, I'm not spotted. Looks like he's aiming for as if I was going after the E4. And clearly his sixth sense has gone off. He aims to the right, but too little, too late. As we put 2 rounds into him. And not even a low roll is going to be able to save that M53, 55 there. We've got 2 shells left and we were able to spot the other artillery. Alright, so in this situation, a lot of people are thinking, why don't you go to interrupt the cap? Why don't you go to interrupt the cap? Because I kind of want one of the artilleries to go and help the T110E4 in the cap. I can still make it over there. And also, if I kill all of the artillery one by one and I don't fight the T110E4 right now, then that gives me the opportunity to be able to avoid having to fight the E4 with him receiving artillery support. So I think about it, shall I go for the T110E4? But instead, I think, okay, let's go for the FV207. And I was using that knowledge that I had from the game earlier, that I wasn't getting hit in position by anything apart from the GW100, is to try and calculate, well, predict, to guess. It's guesswork at this point where the FV207 is. So I'm going to crest the ridge, going to look in the corner. Usually artillery like to hide right behind this building. And this is very neck and neck stuff. 6,700 damage and 1,700 spotting. And there's the British tank destroyer. He doesn't manage to spot me. We put one into his side. He actually does spot me. And we put another one into the top of the hull. Okay, ladies and gents, 38 seconds on this game. 3 artillery kills secured. We got a Radley Walters medal. But are we going to win the game for our team? Are we going to manage to pick up the one that everybody wants, the Kolobanov's medal? And I realized, holy crap, I don't have long left. I was thinking at one point, maybe I could advance. Whoa! Not there. I could advance all the way up over around this location, see if I could get shots around the side. But I realized I don't have time to do that. With 16 seconds left, here we go. It's all in now, ladies and gents. Is it going to be a kill on the 8 health T110E4? We're going to go around the corner. We check him and... Oh, no! Oh, goodness gracious. I guess Sleepy Baby, after 13 hours, wasn't quite hot enough to be able to shut down this E4. Well played to him. The way that he was in that bush managed to keep him spotted until I made it round this location. I thought that if he was going to be here, I would have spotted him as I went round the corner, and that's why you saw me turn my attention to this location. Because for some reason, I thought that, well, I'll be honest, for some reason, I thought at the time that the cap circle extended towards the building, but that's not the case, and I'm going to have to learn from that. What a heartbreak in this game, and well pre-aimed by the T110E4 for that location. I thought that maybe he would be aimed up here for this corner instead, and to be honest, my hand was forced. Still, an absolute riveting game at the end of a marathon session. I was absolutely shaking at the time. I think my body was flushing any kind of adrenaline that I had left in me after the mammoth stream that we had. And a shout out to Sparta 1992 on the enemy team for keeping cool and just pipping me at the end of the game. So an ace tanker defeat here, a Radley Walters medal for the 8 kills we secured, a Dimitriu's medal for killing 3 enemy self-propelled guns in a single battle, and a high caliber for 7,200 damage dealt. 3 to 4 times what anyone else on our team was able to achieve, and we make a decent profit with or without a premium account, of course down to Wargaming's Christmas event, so it's almost as if I did have a premium account without there, right? So the Progetto 65, I just adore the flexibility of this vehicle. I love the fact that you do have some armor that can still pull off miracle bounces, and loading those shells one by one allows you to just progress through the situation and then just hold off long enough to be able to deal with it and then move on to the next one. And the flexibility with those Hesh rounds as well for taking out these artillery, even though we had a few low rolls this game that otherwise would have definitely turned it into our favor. I guess you can't win them all, but you know what, today I feel like a winner because I've got such an incredible, amazing community behind me. And thank you all for making my 2018 just so incredibly epic and memorable. I appreciate it. And seeing how it's Friday on the weekend before Christmas, I want to do something really special. And so I'm going to do a showcase of every single tier 10 medium tank in the game, starting right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And so come along right now if you've ever wondered about the differences between them all and maybe which one you want to get towards yourself. And so that's it for today, ladies and gents. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up, but if you hated it, give it a thumbs down. And I'm really looking forward to seeing as many views as possible right now on twitch.tv/QuickyBaby. And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.